What's up, guys? Welcome back for episode 2 of the Alpha Project. I've been flying around HiSec today, doing a little bit of gas mining and just kind of overall thinking about like activities that you can do as an Alpha when trying to like save for Omega, right? And this kind of got me thinking, and like the original purpose of this series was to like play an Alpha until it can get to a point where it can save up for its first Omega, and then once you're in Omega, sustain that, right? But then I thought to myself, that just puts me kind of back in the same situation as I was before, because once you're Omega, no matter what kind of skills you have, no matter what activity you're doing, you're stressed and you're underneath the economy for trying to sustain that subscription. So I think that the Alpha project is going to actually turn into just staying Alpha forever. Because, like if you've watched the channel, I've played a lot of Eve, and I'm kind of at the point now where I feel like Omega is extremely overrated. And when you actually take the effort and you take all the Omega out of the equation, then the game becomes a lot, like, basically becomes a different game as far as enjoyment goes. So, and like the other thing too is like, gas mining as an Alpha is really viable, but the problem is like the high-sec gas clouds are very rare now. It took me a long time actually today to find a gas cloud. It's actually easier, believe it or not, easier to just go into a wormhole and get gas that way. And even though gas mining is really, really good for income, I think this is a better way to do this. And since we have no plans, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pivot. We have no plans now to ever go Omega. And what we're going to do is we're just going to basically do a lot. We're going to literally just like max out an Alpha, doing things that like most people wouldn't do, right? Because you get to a certain point when you start playing Eve, when you're like, oh, it's just really like, get that Omega clone. I could unlock all these ships and do all these cool things. But like, if you've been playing the game for a while, even with your Omega and you have like 80 million skill points, like you get to the point where you're nullsec mining, you're doing all these things. It all just kind of becomes, it doesn't actually get better. The income you get from like Mercoxis mining or moon mining or any like, high level mining or even high level rat sites or exploration, it really just kind of, scales with the fact that you have an Omega to worry about. And yeah, you can like swipe your card and just play, that way. But I don't know. I kind of just don't want to give CCP any more money. So, the idea here is we're going to be just still kind of like working on the venture here and probably just doing a little bit of just keep doing high-sec mining for the most part while we're training. We did a little bit. We're back up to 12 million. Just kind of like flying around doing whatever today. But I think the goal moving forward is actually just going to be getting into doing rat sites, because when you mine, you have to go out there, you have to mine, and you have to get it back to market and sell it. So I think we're going to go the ratting route for a little while, and we're going to just kind of like push that as far as we can. So right now the goal is actually just, to get into a Vexor. And we don't need all this stuff on this Vexor. We're going to be going pretty cheap on the Vexor. And the idea is we're just going to do like drones. And then we'll get some rail guns, like, to work on it. And we'll be doing just, kind of like what I was doing for this fit. I have a fit video for this Vexor on the channel. So we'd be like targeting, watches, vigils, and things like that in high-sec. So we'd be scanning those things down, and we'd be, getting the bounties. We'd be looting everything. And then once I get done with Vexor, I'm thinking I'm going to move actually into Gila, because you can run a Gila without actually being Omega. And so we're going to be putting a lot of skills into drones for the Vexor, which will then translate really well over to the Gila. And then when we have the Gila, we'll be able to do a little bit better on the combat sites, but then we're going to start doing abyssals, right? Probably do like tier 1 or tier 0 to start and see how we do, and then move up to like tier 1 or see how far we can go in abyssals as just another activity for that. And so Gila will be probably our ratting ship that will be running for a while on that. And then as far as exploration goes, we're going to probably end up doing a lot of like data relic sites, because I've been finding a lot of those lately. We could probably just get another Heron right now, pretty cheap. And this will be what we fly around in and just do kind of like data relic sites with. Mostly relic sites. I think they're a little bit better overall. But normally, if I was going to try to like just generate income to get to where I could pay for Omega, I'd be very stressed out and trying to like I'd be judging every activity I would be doing in the game through the lens of Omega. But since I had planned on with this character and with this series to just stay alpha, we can literally just get to the Gila and like max the Gila out for what we can do as an alpha. We'll do the same thing with exploration with the Heron, and then we can just start kind of exploring other ships that are available to us as well. Obviously, we'll be getting to like the 5 million skill point mark, and we'll be kind of like our passive train will be over. And so picking what skills you want to train and what ships you want to train into before you have that passive train turned off is really important. So what I have training now is just energy grid, upgrades, repair systems. This is kind of the stuff, the books that I already own for that Vexor fit that I showed you. Let's see, go back in here. And so as you can see here, like basically I'm training everything that I already had books for to get to this fit. Some of this stuff's going to change. We're not going to run a faction and everything. This is like 73 million on this. We can make it cheaper, and probably for the most part we're going to run without actual guns. We're just going to like rely on the drones for the most part, and that brings our train down to like 10 days. I still need to buy the starship skills for this, but even if you just look at the ship requirements, it's like 1 day 18 hours just to sit in the Vexor. And so what I'm going to try to do is actually get this up and running probably for episode 3. And really what you should be looking at if you're trying to follow along with this series, try to get into the Vexor, right? Like, so you need Galante Cruiser 1, you need Destroyer 3, and you need Frigate 3. And then everything that goes kind of into that, we're going to be looking at just running probably Hobgoblin 2s, I would say. So you can throw that in there, right? That's going to require Light Drone 5. And then some more drone skills as well. We'll be leaning pretty heavily on the drone skills. And we'll be kind of just doing a lot of combat sites with this to like build our wallet a little bit. Since we're not worried about Omega, we can use all of our product discovery ISK and all of the ISK we get from doing our different activities, just like upgrading ships, buying skill books, and then eventually we can just use alpha injectors once a day to kind of just push. When we shouldn't use alpha injectors until we actually can't passive train anymore, right? So once we actually get to 5 million, then we'll start using alpha injectors to kind of push beyond that. But anyway, that's kind of my goal, right? If you're still looking to follow along with what I've been doing up to this point with like gas mining and just mining in general, I'll put the skill plan or the list of skills that I have for the activities I'm doing right now in the description. But really a lot of it is just like, hull upgrades, mechanics, navigation, warp. It's a lot of this Magic 14 stuff. We're using Afterburner on the Venture right now, so I go Afterburner 3, and then the drone stuff is going to be super important because we're going to be moving into Vexor and then to Gila, and then probably sometime like in the next couple of days I'll start training like hacking and archaeology just so we can get the Heron fit up and running. So we'll have basically the Vexor and then the Heron and then the Venture that we'll be kind of doing things on. And one trick you can do too is you can go out and like mine Veldspar in like the Venture, and then whenever Cosmic Sigs pop up in your system, just scan them down while you're mining. And if it's like a combat site, then you can like warp off, and then you can go grab like your Vexor or whatever, or your Heron, and then you can go run those sites. So you're never just kind of sitting around doing nothing. But this whole list here, I'll put in the description, and then this gas fit is pretty simple. I'll put this in the description as well. It just has scoops in it. And then I'm also just carrying the Miner 2s and the mining laser upgrades in case I just want to like switch over to it. You can just kind of keep doing like high sec gas mining, but they're really hard to find, right? Especially in like high sec, because it's like, not just they don't spawn that much as they used to anymore, and also it's just, they deplete really fast. It's good income, but I think we can do better by just like rolling a Vexor, through some combat sites and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to be training now. Episode 3, we're going to be looking at the Vexor and just kind of like, doing a lot of activity that way. the goal for the next episode will be just like looking and showing the combat sites and combat anomalies that I'm doing with that Vexor, and then we'll kind of just progress from there. So really, if you want to know more about the Vexor fit that I'm headed for, there is this fit video on the channel. I'll put it in the cards as well. You can watch that. But most of the stuff is probably going to get changed over a little bit to just cheaper stuff. We're going to try to bring that total cost down. And stuff like this, power grid upgrades, CPU management, that's going to fix these overages and things like that. But once I actually start running the variant of the Vexor, I'll put that episode, I'll have a fit for that going forward. But I'm actually really excited about just not even worrying about Omega anymore, because that just means that I can focus on just kind of having fun, just blowing stuff up, mining stuff, building stuff to up, you know, and just stay within that, like, you know, alpha bubble. Normally, you know, and like I was trained the same way too. It's like you're trained when you first start playing Eve. It's like, oh, if you're an alpha, you're, you know, a noob. But I don't think that's true. You can get a lot of skill points and never be Omega. You know, there are a lot of people out there that have probably never been Omega and never want to be Omega, but they have, like, you know, they have a crazy amount of you know, things that they can do in their play loop. So we'll see how it goes, right? It's an experimental series, the Alpha Project. So thank you for watching. If you want to follow along with this series, then yeah, just keep mining in the venture, doing your project discovery, and just work towards that Vexor with those hobgoblins. And then that's, you know, our next stop is just ratting. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.